I lost over 30 kilograms, and yes, people really treat you differently. One of the weirdest parts of losing weight has been not just body changing, though sometimes I feel like I'm a toddler, and I realize that I can do physically things I could not before, like jumping somewhere. Or recently, I was walking with my brother and I got the laces on my sneakers unwrapped, untangled, and to fix them, I put my leg on 1 meter or something stand, and my brother was like, I did not know you can do that. Me too. And of course, it makes life much easier in a physical sense and unfortunately in mental load. And what I wanted to talk about is how, and it's not only in my head, there are studies that show that it is way easier to live more fulfilling and socially acceptable life when your weight is lower. And the most uncomfortable part for me is that I started grieving process of weight loss and my how I was perceived by the world, how it changed slowly with my weight loss changes. But at this point, I think I almost accepted it. The rules of the game are you look socially acceptable and you get privileges. And I feel guilty for saying that, but it's like knowing that there is specific pattern, a specific dynamic, and pretending it does not exist. It exists. And now as a person who lost some weight, I'm still on bigger side and on bigger side of medical BMI. But even I notice that I have the same education. I did not get more certificates. I did not become more virtuous. I just became smaller. I am treated better. Let me explain. So, for example, I walk to a grocery store and people make, I would say, 70% more eye contact with me, especially men. And it feels weird because it is friendly eye contact and I'm not used to it. And I feel like, what do you want from me? I don't feel like, yeah, life is sunshine and rainbows. And people are so friendly because I know that you can be treated way differently in the same shoes, in the same jeans, with the same makeup, just 30 kilograms more, and you get 70% less eye contact. Of course, it's not statistically, but I explain it in how it feels. It's all in your head. I hear it a lot. And I think, on one hand, it is true, and we will talk about it later. On the other hand, it's devaluing of the experience and doesn't bring any benefits to a person who tries to share experience and is suffering from stigma in some way. So I'm getting worked up because how do you know? How do you know that it's all in my head? That if you've never been there, if you always were like in medical sense not overweight, it's all anecdotal. But I have receipts. I did some research. So the first study is about experiences of stigma that can make people start expecting rejection before anything even happens. The paper says people from stigmatized groups become chronically vigilant for signs of rejection. We talked about it in therapy a lot. And first of all, what I want to say before we dive into the studies that in this particular society where sinness is seen as a virtue, this study was conveyed. And if it was in any other society without this value of thinness, where being overweight doesn't mean that you're morally wrong or at fault, this situation, in my opinion, would be way healthier. That's why I think it's systematic stuff. The study talks about a rejection sensitivity in dating context. I totally have high rejection sensitivity. And for me, it was eye-opening to read this study and see that it is true. When you are heavier, you can be really more sensitive to rejection, especially in romantic context, because it's the most vulnerable, at least for me. So, women and men who varied in objective body weight, body mass index, gave a speech describing why they would make a good date. Half believed that a potential dating partner would see videotape of their speech, weight seen, and half believed that a potential dating partner would listen to an audio tape of their speech, weight unseen. And during this fascinating study, researchers noticed among women, but not men, that when a participant thought that they are seen during their speech, they became more self-conscious. I perceive it as they were less charismatic, less confident, and less eloquent, comparing to participants thinking that they are only heard and no one sees how much they weigh. In contrast, lower body weight women reported decreased expectations of social rejection when weight was seen versus unseen, which in turn predicted increased self-esteem, decreased self-conscious emotions, and decreased stress. Men's responses were largely unaffected by body weight or visibility, suggesting that a dating context may not be identity threatening for higher body weight men. And the study is from 2016. I think right now it changed because I talked to all people of all genders and I noticed the same rejection sensitivity and thoughts. Maybe men are less rejected by because of their weight and appearance in society. I don't know. I don't have personal experience, but by talking about what people predict, it feels like in 2026, 10 years later, the society did not get better with easing rejection expectations at women. Anecdotal experience of talking to men, it only made the systematic issue just became also a problem of men. Of course, there are positive changes. It's just an opinion. Maybe we have something to work on. And me too. I hear from people I know quite close that they see more preferential treatment after weight loss on workplace, on job interviews, and this is what your livelihood actually depends on. And me personally, I am influencer, so I'm always in public eye, and I noticed that I get invitations from events I have not been invited to before, and I cannot say that my following count has changed much in Instagram or the content quality. Maybe it even declined because I started YouTube and I don't put as much effort in my Instagram as before. Systematic problem. Even in Europe, where people seem to be so accepting. We support this and that, but oh my God, how dare you be fat? that must be something wrong with you. Phew. So I wrote down that what changed is eye contact, patience in conflict resolution. It's friendlier. For example, in restaurant, it was 4 years ago, I asked to change the drink because there was insect in my drink. And they said, no, it's not our fault that you got insect in your drink. And now I haven't been to the same place, of course, but now I get drinks on the house. When I got drink on the house for the first time in my life at a bar, I was like, wow, thank you. That's very sweet of you. But in my head, I was like, do I owe you? And no, I just got drink on the house. And I was like, yo. So what they talk about in videos of, yeah, I'm pretty girl and I never paid for my drinks. I'm on a bigger side still. I got my drink on a house. What? Never had it before. I have been my whole life so tired of hearing and seeing that I'm making a screenshot that it's all in your head. People are actually very friendly. It's just you are not confident, and partially it's true. The social feedback loop. Confidence is partially dependent on social feedback. People love saying that confidence comes from within, but I think social feedback shapes confidence much more than we admit. If you experience negative feedback again and again and again and again, like in previous study, you start expecting rejection, you start expecting specific treatment by default, and it's awful. We should not change treatment of people by how people look, but we do. And I don't think that people are evil, and also me, that I'm evil. I think it's conditioning, and I think it will change with generations. And here goes the part where I say that I mostly accepted that these are the rules of the game. I'm treating insulin resistance, and thanks to the treatment, I can come closer and to see the benefits. And that's why I'm making this video. The feedback loop is very evident by the study we just reviewed, and in real life I'm in transitioning moment. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I don't recognize myself, and sometimes I go outside and I feel like I have target on my back, but then I see people around being more friendly and warm to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm treated better in this particular situation. I'm in safer environment, and the environment changed not because the environment changed. The environment changed because I'm perceived differently, as if I'm morally better. It is F up when people suddenly assume that I'm disciplined until they realize I have insulin resistance treatment, which is seen as easy way out. Then I suddenly become lazy. And of course I have found a study. Changes in weight bias following weight loss, the impact of weight loss method. So in this study, participants, 73 of them, saw a picture of thin woman and larger body of woman, and they were asked to indicate their perception, to describe basically what are the values of the person they see and what is their behaviors, what their qualities are. And participant then viewed a more recent image of the target in which she had lost weight, and were informed that the target has lost weight through diet and exercise or through surgery or were not provided with an explanation for the weight loss. Participants once again indicated their impression of the target on the same measures. And regardless of the method of weight loss, all targets were rated as eating more healthily, exercising more, and being more competent and less sloppy after having lost weight. Participants also rated the target as less lazy when they learned that she had lost weight through natural methods, or when no information was provided about the method of losing weight. And the target who lost weight through some treatments was not seen as being any less lazy after losing weight. These findings indicate that perception of obese individuals can in fact improve after they have lost weight, but that this might depend on the method of weight loss. Whew. God help us. But if you're enough on TikTok, and if you are interested in wellness journeys and treatments of different weight-related issues, you know that there is a big topic about easy way out. Come on, I pay 580 for the treatment of insulin resistance. That I shrink, it's just a side effect. And I will be using the treatment my whole life. What's easy about it? Am I getting healthier? Yeah. Am I getting happier? Yeah. Do I recommend it? I'm not your medical specialist, so talk to your doctor. You cannot make everyone happy, so just try to make happy yourself. I'm grateful that life becomes easier, but it still makes me sad because younger me, 2 years ago, I deserved the same treatment. And of course, I don't want to gain weight because I don't want to get less favorable treatment. No one wants. I don't think most people consciously decide to treat bigger women worse. I think we all are socially conditioned to perceive thinness as moral superiority, virtue, discipline, beauty, health, and worth. And it's crazy that sometimes what we call insecurity is basically social adaptation. When one experiences less warmth, less acceptance, less romantic interest for years, it's not moral failure. It's very adequate. It's logical for the brain to expect what was proved to be presented. It is in your head, but also why is it in your head? Who told you that several times for you to believe? Now when I'm at an event, photographers come to me and ask me to pose with something. And of course I get more confident at events. My social anxiety got way less than it was 2 years before. And now sometimes I notice that I don't need to perform confidence. I'm just safe in my own skin. It is so messed up. Just be more confident. But why, for me, in therapy, advocating for body acceptance, it became easier to feel more safe and more confident when I lost weight. I don't say it's impossible to be in a bigger body and be confident and self-assured and feel safe. I did not reach that. I did not reach healthy baseline. I'm not sure if even with losing so much weight, I reached it. Of course, performing confidence helped a lot. Big topic of before and after. 30 kilograms before, I was not less stylish or less manicured. I wear same makeup. It's the same clothes. And now my nervous system slowly picks up that I may be more safe in this world than I ever been before. And it makes me cry. I never been in conventionally acceptable body size, and it makes me want to get there, and I'm also afraid of it. I know that some people gained weight while they knew the life before gaining weight, and then they started being conditioned that the world is not a safe space. And I thought my whole life that the world is not safe space, not acceptance space, not warm space. And if I get friendly or warm treatment, they either one of rare people who do not see my weight as my personal failure, or they want something from me, and it is very traumatized point of view. And right now I'm relearning with the social evidence that sometimes what I perceived as a negative treatment of me personally is a reflection of the person in a world, their problems, and their situation. So someone can be angry and not much talkative and appreciative of you, not only because they think that you are lazy and ugly, but because they had a bad day. And before, for me, it was not as easy to accept it. But right now, when I see more evidence of people being friendlier to me, I start seeing that, oh my God, there are so many reasons for people to be unfriendly. So I don't say that every conventionally attractive body is treated the kindest way every time. I say that the treatment I experience has been changing with my weight. It's very validating to see studies that show that I'm not crazy, that it's not in my head. It's both. Once you experience both ways of being treated, you cannot unsee it. You cannot accept that some people will treat you, maybe even subconsciously, less preferential, less kind, and I don't have any solution, honestly. My weight has changed, and how society perceives me also changes, and how I perceive myself has also changed. What are your thoughts? I put here a video that algorithm thinks will be interesting for you to watch next. Follow my channel. We'll make more Sing and Talk videos because I like to talk, and I also like to read your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for being with me. Stay hydrated, sleep well, eat well, and I see you in the next one very soon. Bye bye.